You are a bottom, and I'm gonna prove it. Do you know if you're a top, a bottom, or a switch? Trick question, you're a bottom, and I'm gonna prove it. I am actually gonna tell you for sure right now. And you better hurry up because we're late for your lesbian fortune teller appointment. You're riding shotgun, I know you can't drive.
Get in, loser, we're doing bottom science.
This video is bottom bait. Is bottom a verb or a noun? An action or an identity? What's the difference between a pillow princess and a power bottom? If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, then you already know that I might have beef with switches.
She really does. Drop the lore.
In 2018, Autostraddle surveyed thousands of queer people, and here's what they found. Most people say they're switches, but are they actually? Nope. Still love you though. I'm gonna break down what bottom really means, how to know if you are one, the lies and stigmas that mess us up, and why nothing is ever simple with lesbians. Am I right?
Disclaimer, this video contains descriptions of identities and slang within the marginalized community and is intended for informational and educational purposes.
By the end of the video, you're gonna be in one of two groups. One group, proud bottoms ready to shout it from the rooftops. The other group, people who love bottoms. I guess there is a third group. My ex is watching to see if I'll tell a story about them. Spoiler alert, I will, allegedly. Which one of you will it be? Okay, let's start with the basics. Because before you meet your lesbian fortune teller, I kinda need you to know what the word bottom even means. Going to a dog show without knowing what a dog is? Embarrassing. Okay, you ready? Let's play a game. It's called grammar, but make it gay. How many bottoms would a toppy bottom top if a toppy bottom could top bottomy bottoms? Yes, that sentence is held together with glitter glue and lesbian logic. Don't worry, I know a lesbo who took AP English in 11th grade. Let's make it make sense. When you say I bottomed last night or I'm bottoming at brunch, that's a verb. You're describing a behavior. But when you say I am a bottom, that's a noun, an identity. Some people think that if you sometimes top as a verb and sometimes bottom as a verb, that means you have to be a switch as a noun. But in my lesbian opinion, those people are wrong. The only term that means one or the other exclusively is stone. We'll get to that later. Doing a verb doesn't trap you in a box and forbid you from claiming the noun. We've suffered enough boxes, thank you very much. But wait, it gets gayer, because we also make them adverbs and adjectives. Stop looking at me all bottomy or we will have to go home. OMG, you're looking so toppy today with those power tools. Yep, you can use bottomy as an adverb and toppy as an adjective and it still slaps. I bet you didn't expect a queer linguistics lesson. Yes, you have my permission to link this video as a reference in your lesbian papers footnotes.
I'm a scissorily scissoring. I'm a thing, you're a thing. Discuss.
Because language is a tool and queers use our tools creatively.
What do you mean? Down boy, down boy.
Words evolve. Text, Google, and time all used to be nouns, and now they're verbs. But the language we use isn't borrowed because it's not owned by someone else. It doesn't exist separate from us, it's in our blood. All kinds of subcultures literally birth language. Like the Queen Shakespeare was spitting them out left and right. He invented like 1,000 words, and he was a chaotic little theater homo, and I will die on that hill.
Henceforth I shall unfriend thee, for thou art giving bottom.
Quick disclaimer, this video is about vanilla ice cream, not spicy ice cream, okay? Rihanna is allowed to sing about it, but if I say too loud, the demonetization robot loads a slingshot. So I'm so sorry, I cannot post K-word education videos here, but if you're desperate, join my Patreon. I'm not above a bribe. I'm not above a bribe. Okay, I am so proud of you because now you're gonna pass vocabulary. Next step is really important because we gotta figure out where these words came from, how we birthed them, and why context changes everything. And it will be on the quiz. No pressure, but if you get this wrong, the lesbian fortune teller will put a Scorpio curse on you, and you'll never get to date a Scorpio. Okay, quick career history lesson without triggering that surveillance robot that lives in my toaster. That lives in my toaster. Words like top and bottom and even switch and verse were probably first popularized in 1950s gay leather culture. Back then, it was literal. Top equals a person on top, bottom equals a person on bottom. Done. So simple, so literal, so man. Fast forward to today, and some folks still use those literal meanings, but most sapphics have different vibes, different anatomy, different, I don't know, gravity. So we gotta remix and change the meanings. It's like keep the labels, change the settings, so it'll be useful for people who aren't cis gay men who look like Danny Zuko. It's a good look though, because the whole point of this is communication, right? So sometimes the bridge that carried one community's meanings can't hold the weight of another's.
So you're saying that cis gay men are simple and flinces are complex?
You said that, not me. Queer cultures are clustering. You do not have to tear down an old bridge just to build a new different one. What's wrong with two bridges? Neither of them are wrong, they're just for different loads. Wow, I can tell you tried really hard. We have to redo the entire thing, don't we? Yep. And don't forget that there are way more than two bridges because the context changes the meaning. It can completely flip when you're talking about spicy ice cream and banana splits have different physics. We're staying vanilla today. Okay, cool. Now that the grammar and history of gayness is untangled, we know that everything can be correct and also wrong. So now it's time to untangle some myths because half of you are like, I'm a bottom, and the other half might be lying. So, how do you actually know if you're a bottom? Do you wake up one day with a spiritual calling? Does a bisexual fairy sneak into your room and leave a velvet scrunchie and a strap under your pillow and whisper, it's time? Unfortunately, no. A fairy won't do that, so you have to go to adamandeve.com and order one for yourself. But then you can put it under your pillow and pretend that bisexual strap fairies are real.
They are. All fairies are bisexual.
Come on, even Tinkerbell?
Especially Tinkerbell.
So for you to use my coupon code Stevie for 50% off one single item plus free shipping to the US and Canada, you need to go to adamandeve.com, not adamandsteve.com. Leave a comment thanking them for sponsoring this video and helping you learn about bottoms. So if a bottom bottoms, then what is bottoming? Allison Moon says in Girl Sex 101 that bottoming is receiving, and she calls it an art. But it's not just sex acts. If you enjoy someone else taking initiative, first text, pickup line, planning the date, paying for dinner, you might be resonating with the art of receiving. But wait, it's not that simple. Bottoms can pay for dinner and tops can be swept off their feet. Behavior doesn't equal identity. Okay, here's the secret. When you're thinking about giving or receiving in certain scenarios, are you wanting, willing, or enduring? Pay attention to how it feels in your body because some things might just feel nice or you wouldn't mind them, and other things feel like a desperate need in your gut. That's important because if you get caught up in your thinking about giving and receiving, you might get tricked. Receiving is less powerful, passive, or less work. Bottom shaming and top worship happen all the time in queer spaces. Even when we think we're above it, icky stuff sneaks in. And don't even get me started on the hetero classic, so who wears the pants? Wearing pants doesn't make you a top, Jenna. They were just 30% off at Dickies. And you can still be a bottom if you've topped 100 times, and it has nothing to do with what you look like. So according to that survey, people who identify as femme are more likely to be bottoms, but that doesn't mean all femmes are bottoms or all masks are tops. Stone top femmes and stone bottom masks are out there. Don't assume. And other appearances like skin color or disability can make people project wild assumptions. We'll get to that in a bit, but first let's talk about what type of bottom you could be. If we were in the fortune teller's tent, this is the part where she sighs and says, yeah, you're that one. Okay, yay, we kind of know what bottoming is now, but knowing ice cream exists doesn't mean that you picked a flavor. And there are so many flavors of bottom. You could be a switchy bottom, someone who enjoys topping but leans bottom. Or you could be a bottomy switch, a switch who, if left unsupervised, mysteriously migrates to the bottom position, like a Roomba finding its charging dock. But wait, there's way more flavors. The shy bottom. You want it, you just don't want to say you want it. But you might drop hints the size of a U-Haul van. Wow, this bed sure looks comfy. What if we just stayed here? And hope a certain someone picks up what you're putting down. Next, the compliment collector bottom. You're here for the praise. Eye contact? Yes. Words of affirmation? Absolutely. If they tell you you're doing a good job and you're suddenly writing them into your will, you might be a bottom. The tactical bottom. You're not passive. You're strategic. You let the other person think they're in charge while you orchestrate the entire encounter like an evil mastermind. The power bottom. The myth. The legend, the cardio workout. I call it topping from the bottom, so this is not one flavor. Being with a power bottom is a workout for your body, mind, and soul. 1 minute you think you're eating vanilla ice cream, and the next you're like, is there ayahuasca in this? If your inner monologue sounds like the lyrics of Shy by Renee Rapp, you might be a power bottom. And last but not least, the pillow princess, AKA stone bottom, AKA touch you not. Stones are beautiful and wonderful, and don't you dare let anyone ever tell you otherwise. The stone butch, stone femme dynamic has a deep, rich history, but pillow princess is sometimes used as an insult. We'll unpack that in the stigma chapter later. But limiting the types of physical touch you are willing to give is really hot, honorable, and revolutionary. You might be a stone bottom if you're a master at boundary setting and holding, and you receive touch but have limits on giving touch. So the compatibility opposite of a power bottom isn't a top, it's a service top. So subscribe subscribe so you don't miss my video about tops. Yes, I'm looking at you. 75% of you watching right now aren't subscribed, so you're in trouble. Your punishment is to subscribe right this second, and I'll pretend this never happened. Yay, bottoms! Whether you're shy, tactical, or a Neapolitan swirl of every flavor, there's no wrong way to be a bottom. Also okay, mystery flavor. Wait, before you book a consult for your power bottom tramp stamp, I have to be honest. There's a whole lot of cultural baggage around bottoming. We're talking giant black trash bag that your ex left at your house in 2019 and still hasn't picked up. Okay, quick appreciation moment. Bottoms are lovely.
Yeah, we get it. You love bottoms.
Selfish? Yes, please. Does anyone look at a diamond and go, okay, we get it. Can you stop making everything about you? It's a diamond, it sparkles. But with that being said, there is a difference between an honest statement about incompatibility and being rude. Pillow princesses just need to admit it right away. Don't waste my time. That's technically communicating a preference. Ugh, pillow princesses need to wear a sign that says lazy. Sorry, I don't date straight girls. That one is bottom on bottom crime. The thing is, a lot of us were socialized to give everything. In a hetero context, you are giving by receiving acts being done to you for the pleasure of a husband or whatever. In a sapphic context, that logic makes zero sense, but the conditioning still lingers. So all of these puritanical lies tell us things like women's sexuality either doesn't exist or is dangerous and needs to be controlled. And even if you're allowed some pleasure, it better be the right kind and you better have earned it first. So then we internalize things like wanting is greedy, receiving is selfish. So the shame spiral about bottoming or being a bottom makes sense. But proud bottoms know the truth. Pleasure is not a reward. It's an entitlement. You don't have to earn it, unless you're into that. Allowing me to give to you is a gift to me, not a chore. If it wasn't valuable, no one would fake it. That's all I'm saying. And is a diamond selfish for sparkling, or are you selfish for wearing it on your finger? Allowing someone to give you pleasure is a radical act of trust. Bottoming is vulnerable, and that's what makes it powerful. Try calling a touch-me-not selfish for wanting to give and see how that goes. This isn't laziness, it's agency. Choosing what happens to your body in either direction is hot and righteous. So if you see someone shaming diamonds for selfishly sparkling, you should call it what it is. Pick me behavior. Call this number, 1-800-STOP bottom on bottom crime. You don't earn love or sexual favors by doing enough of them to someone else first.
Unless you're a straight man. In that case, are you lost?
Okay, speaking of shame, let's talk stigma, biphobia, and my ex. Grab some popcorn. Isn't it interesting that in other circles, refusing to bottom can be a shield? I'm the top, I'm not gay. But for us, being a pillow princess makes people say you're secretly straight, which is wild because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone's ever told a stone butch, oh, so you can dish it out but you can't take it? Maybe you're not actually gay. Story time. One of my first girlfriends was like, have you ever gone down? When we first started hooking up. And I was like, yeah, obviously. And she was like, oh, and do you like it? And I was like, yes. And she was like, oh, do you like it with girls or just with guys? What a boner killer. Instead of honestly saying, I would like to bottom for you, or even just using body language, she just assumed I was a pillow princess because I was bisexual. And I am not cool enough to be either of those things. So I assumed that I shouldn't outright ask her to be a doee. And she assumed that because I was secretly bisexual, I wasn't gay enough to be interested in being a doer. What a stigma cluster, am I right? Biphobia isn't cute, right, Gumbo? Bisexuals don't have to prove their gayness by topping, and neither do us non-bisexuals. Stone bottoms are rare, valuable, and gay enough. Topping doesn't make you gayer or straighter, it makes you lucky. And bottoms don't get a not gay enough card, they get my full attention. Compatibility matters, but so does not being an ass about it. And for the record, and I checked, bottoms can drive, totally legal.
Hi, I made this for you. Mwah.
Okay, we're almost there. Time to put everything together, and then we get to meet the lesbian fortune teller. Are you taking notes? Race, disability, class, gender, past experiences, all of these things, and probably many more, can shift how each of us feels about top and bottom stuff. Trans masks might have a complex relationship with bottoming, trans femmes might have a complex relationship with topping, people of color, non-binary people, disabled people, and religious or culturally conservative contexts can all slap on extra layers. Some conversations are not safe in every space. Bragging about topping a stud in front of their stud friends can sound like a conquest or identity erasure. Or if your boo has a physical disability, you might think it's a flirty compliment to say, she keeps me on my toes, it's hard work giving her what she wants. But that might sound like she's a burden. So many layers. And multiple marginalizations can pull those assumptions in different directions. And survivors often have layered, deeply personal relationships with all of the verbs, nouns, and adjectives we've been throwing around. And they deserve autonomy, respect, and zero assumptions. Like, don't assume that a stone is a survivor, or asexual, or confused, or fixable. Asexuality is a spectrum, and some stones are on that spectrum, but some do not identify with it. Being a stone doesn't change your sexuality. Boundaries and preferences can be act-specific, person-specific, or February-specific. The point is to be mindful and respectful and take accountability when you mess up. Okay, you made it. Go ahead and open the flaps. Okay, we've arrived at the lesbian fortune teller's tent. If you're not coughing, you're not doing gay science, am I right? Oh no, she just flipped over a card and it says, text your ex, you're a bottom. I'm just kidding, calm down.
Plot twist, I'm the lesbian fortune teller. Where's my tip? No tip? Bold, you are now cursed. You must never top again or never bottom again. Which fate do you choose?
How did that make you feel? Was it A, it was easy to choose and it didn't feel like a curse? You know what you are. B, you're sweating and begging but still chose one? You still know what you are. Or C, you'd rather hand over your firstborn child to Rumpelstiltskin than pick one. You might be a true switch.
Where's my tip? Oh, your tip is a comment thanking the sponsor and going to adamandeve.com and using code Stevie? Perfect. My crystal ball will reveal your future. Ooh, tomorrow you will meet the love of your life. Your absolute most compatible soulmate. Picture them. Lucky you, they're a stone.
So how did that one make you feel? A, excited for your future because you immediately knew which one they were. Congrats, top or bottom. Or B, torn but leaning in one direction. Yeah, you're probably that one. How about C, refuse to choose because you'd be giving up something too meaningful? You're gonna die alone out of principle? Welcome to Switch Club, where it's acceptable to ghost the love of your life simply because they're a stone, apparently. Can't relate. Congrats, we made it. You don't need a fortune teller to tell you who you are, but come on, that was fun. But the real scissor prophecy is this. If you haven't had much experience, then you might not know yet, and that's fine. Maybe you can't know right now, or maybe you'll never identify with any of them. You can bottom for a bottom and top a top and never make sense. Sounds pretty gay. So what did we learn? That I was right. You're either a proud bottom or you love bottoms now. Or you're my ex, allegedly. Hey girl. And don't forget that the exact same act can feel toppy or bottomy depending on the lighting. Whether you're a capital B bottom or a lowercase b bottom only on the weekends, Snippy will curse your weekend plans if you don't tip her with a comment. So just looking out for you. Being a bottom is an art. And it's way more fun than pretending you're a switch just so you can look mysterious. Go forth, proud bottoms and lovers of bottoms. Leave the myths, keep the lube. And if you ever doubt yourself, just remember, the bisexual strat fairy believes in you.